Good afternoon, Drag Racers. I'm Maddox.
And I'm Logan.
And for Season 5 of RuPaul's Drag Race, every week we will be bringing you our top 3 moments of the week, the shade of the week, our favorite queen of the week,
our least favorite queen of the week,
our favorite look on the runway, and our predictions for next week's episode.
So stay tuned.
What do you want? What's the tea? You tell me what's the tea. What's the tea? You tell me what's the tea.
My first favorite moment was they had to do a RuPaul's video because every last episode RuPaul is promoting her single or CD or new movie or new makeup line or something. Hashtag promoting bitch. They had to lip sync to a sped up version of the song so that when they slow it down it's just like fierce hairography and chiffonography and all this fierceness. Fierceography that Candace Kane taught them. And Roxy, for me, by far, was the best during that. Listen, you could say a lot of things about Roxy, but she will turn her hair out, and her face is always beat.
And her looks are always
on point. She ain't got a nice personality, but that sped up lip sync was everything. Like, her hair was hitting all the
how to keep up with it.
Exactly. She kept up with her lip sync. She was turning. It was everything. I lived for it. I was like, work, bitch, work. Alaska, why did you wear an afro? But that's something we can talk about a little bit later.
I have that coming up.
What's your first favorite moment?
My first favorite moment happened within 30 seconds of the episode starting. When
Yes.
they all walked in, and they were like, oh, how many wins do you have? How many wins do you have? And Little Miss Alaska said, oh, and even playing ground. Oh, except for I've never had the lip sync.
Boom! Yes, that was fierce.
And I said, you're just sitting on that table, bow-legged, cross-legged, all bothered with your underpanties on, your full face, and you just, oh, except I've never had the lip sync.
Yeah.
I was like, you
win. I lived for it.
I've changed my mind. I think you're going to win.
I lived for it. Okay.
It was the first time I was ever like, work, Alaska!
Okay, so my second favorite moment came during the challenge when they had to act, and Alaska did this character, the defense attorney, Peg Halls, who was talking like this, and she smokes 20 cigarettes a day. She graduated law school when she was 20. She doesn't know how. And then she's like, put my briefs on the table, and then she pulls out her panties.
Her tugging panties.
And puts them on the table. That, Alaska, I felt like all 3 of her characters, she had a story for them. They all had different voices. It was just everything. I lived for her. It was hysterical. It really was. I was really, like, in love with her.
I enjoyed it. I don't always enjoy the music video or leading up to it, but that was
really funny. Yeah. And RuPaul as Judge Rudy was kind of fierce.
Yes, ma'am.
Hunty. What was your second favorite moment?
They were talking with the lawyer lady.
Oh,
I don't remember her name.
Gloria Aldridge or
her. And Roxy was giving her little answer and carrying on and on and on. And Little Miss Gloria said, what you don't want is pageant babble. That was a quick face crack for Miss Roxy Andrews. Because she was like, and the way she was presenting herself, she was like, and being imperfect is being perfect. And she said, I don't want pageant babble. And Roxy went from this to this.
Yeah, her face cracked.
She gave you a little bit of an Alyssa. Swoop it. But I thought that was fierce because the one person you shouldn't say pageant babble to just got served a plate of no pageant babble.
So my third favorite moment was Alaska's Defend Your Life speech. Because, girl, as soon as she said that, I tweeted, I said, she just won, in my opinion. Because point of the speech was you were supposed to say why you're supposed to be the drag superstar and why the other 2 should not be the drag superstar. Both the other 2, Jinx give her sob stories, Roxy talking about whatever the fuck she was talking about, and then here comes Alaska. My name's Alaska, and I'm hungry to be America's next drag superstar. No, not hungry. I'm practically starving. I said, bitch. As soon as that started, I was like, she just won. I can't. And then she clocked Roxy on not knowing how to do anything but be pretty. She clocked
Miss Jinx
on
3 looks in one challenge.
But yeah, that Defend Your Life speech was
something else.
On point. On point. And I loved her runway look, but I wish she had on earrings. That was the only thing. But
it's time to open the can of worms that everyone's been waiting for.
What's your third?
Roxy versus Jinx Monsoon, part 432. When Miss Roxy said, "Why do I have to make up a name, etc.? Because I'm Roxy Andrews playing a character." I'll tell you why. Because Matthew Anderson, who's directing the challenge, said, and I quote, "You've been instructed to create different characters for each role." Now let me tell you what that means.
Gert.
In pageant lingo. Like in swimwear, when you have to create a swim look. When you are going to be the defense attorney, you make a character for the defense attorney.
She's like, no, I'm just the bitch.
And then you want to complain that it's a comedy this, comedy that. Well, bitch, we are finding out that you really ain't that funny.
Yeah.
Because your little interviews, you say something like, well, being a defense attorney, in my mind, is not that funny. Well, you being as skinny as you think you are with a big cutout in the back ain't funny to me as you're walking away. And I've been trying to be real cute and nice the past few videos, but bitch, it's not my fault you couldn't keep up this season. It was a comedy-heavy season. It was. It was an acting-heavy season, but girl, you're on RuPaul's Drag Race and you're a formal Miss Continental. You should be able to do these things.
First of all,
where your people at? Where your people at? Because on Facebook, they seem to be turning right against you. Yeah.
When she was like, why I gotta make up a character? I'm like, it's an acting.
Because that's the instructions.
Have you never seen a movie? Do you think
do you think when you go play a role that you go and do it as yourself?
Exactly. Even your drag persona is a character. Like,
so you add a character on top of your character.
Exactly.
See how the other two did it and got complimented for what they were doing? At that point in my mind, I would have
switched it up, girl.
I would have not have said, oh, I'm Roxy and I'm playing the bitch. Oh, but then you're going to be the defense attorney and you're also going to be
the bitch. And then the ghetto girl.
The Tamar Braxton.
Oh, yes. Alaska clocked that real fear. She was like, so Roxy Andrews is Tamar Braxton. .com.
They succeeded at this challenge and you didn't, and you felt the need to
bring them down,
attack them, and Alaska said it right. Pageant queens play some tricky, shady mind games in dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And you do. And maybe instead of picking mind games, you should work on what you were supposed to be doing, and you could have succeeded and not looked boo-boo the fool. Hashtag boo-boo the fool Andrews.
Okay, so the shade has already begun, but I have 2 shades of the week because
I have 3.
This week was so shady, and it hasn't been shady in a while, but
they saved it for the finale.
They saved it. My first shade is they first come in and like they start the new episodes where it's like they're coming straight off the runway, and all of them are like looking through their stuff, and Roxy's like, oh my god, I have a note. It's from Detox. And then Alaska's like, I have a note from Detox. And then they pan to Jinx, and she's going, looking for a note. Roxy reads her note, then Alaska reads her note, and then Jinx goes, I don't have a note. Like, girl, that is the shade of all shade.
The shade of all shade is that Detox probably left her note and producers took it away before they came in.
Yeah, that is probably what happened, but it's still funny.
Because if you know Detox, you know she ain't that shady.
Yeah, but that's still
But
funny.
if you did do that...
What's your first shade?
When Roxy said, Alaska, my dear, sashay away, and Alaska said, words you will never hear. Girl, Roxy, you really tried it a lot.
She was trying.
People just went, boop. They put their Alyssa Edwards best clock foot forward and snatched you down to the floor every time you tried it. I thought that was hysterical because you don't ever really hear Alaska in public. Yeah. She's always in her interviews being shady. And she said, words you are never going to hear.
And she's actually right. You're never going to hear it because now it's going to be the reunion show, and she doesn't tell them to sashay away. She just announced the winner. My second shade, Candace Kane came in, and she's like, we're going to do hairography, chiffonography, bring me my fan. So they all had to go in front of the fan and like do hair whipping, and Candace is like the queen of that.
Yes.
First of all, no one can do that like Candace Kane and Beyonce. Which brings me to my shade. When Candace Kane, Jinx is doing whatever Jinx is doing. And Candace Kane goes, "No, honey, think more Beyonce, less Cousin It." I was like, work. Jinx was a mess during that. I'm like,
She was.
what are your other shades, girl? Great.
What's your favorite moment so far? You being in the bottom two.
Oh, yes. That was kind of fierce when Roxy said that.
When Miss Roxy Andrews said that to Jinx Monsoon, and poor Jinx is just trying to put on her clown white. And Roxy says that, and she's like, "Why do you have to bring me down?" And there's Alaska. Pageant queens play a lot of mind games in the dressing room.
But, yeah, that was funny.
And then there's Roxy. This is exactly the gas I needed to get on that stage. Roxy does her speech. Jinx does her speech. And then Roxy decides, let me apologize on the runway in front of everyone. If I was... See, Jinx, this is where you've gone wrong.
Yeah.
If Roxy did that, I would have said, bullshit!
Yeah.
Bullshit! Because you've made fun of me all season, but now that we're in the top 3 and it's the finale, and we're sitting in front of RuPaul and the 2 judges that have been here every week, you want to be sorry? Yeah, Roxy, that was a good try, but once again, you showed your ass to America because nobody bought it. So it is 12:15 in New York. I'm expecting an apology on Facebook around 1:30.
Another fierce thing was... Roxy was blow drying her hair, and Jinx is talking to her, and she's like, "Sorry, I can't hear you. I'm blow drying my hair." Huh?
The one time Jinx is speaking up for herself.
My favorite queen this week was Alaska. I mean, I don't even know why I even talk about this, because I say this I've been saying this for the last 4 weeks. Alaska is my favorite queen. She turned out the acting. She was really bad during the video, but she's never been a dancer. Her knock knees, pigeon toe, she can't dance. And everybody's not a dancer. So, she knows she can't. And I felt so bad for her because she was swinging her chiffon, stepping on it. And then she wore that afro wig. I was just like, girl, why did you wear an afro wig?
I used to have a wig like that. We called it
Coconut.
Yeah. She was a good time.
But why would you wear an afro wig when it was a hair challenge? Afro wigs don't...
Because she only has... We went through this last week. She only has 2 other wigs. You know what that is? That was the bump that she puts on her head and then puts the blonde hair on. Yeah. But she just turned it right side out and wore it as a normal wig.
Yeah. But she's still my favorite. She was funny. She was getting her reads in this episode in live action, not just in her interviews. Her runway, I really liked her runway look. And I just like Alaska, so
I put her as my favorite too, because of what she said on the runway and because of her characters.
Yes. That was really good.
It was a very good week for you.
It was.
Who was your least favorite?
My least favorite was Jinx.
Me too.
Now, the reason why my least favorite is Jinx is because I believe that by this episode, why would you go on the runway with that purple fake silk chiffon dress, that fucking flower headband thing?
Wait. It wasn't flowers, it was seashells.
Whatever it was. It
didn't
ugly.
make sense.
It was ugly.
And I really thought it was just leftover prop from promotion.
I was like, oh, you look a mess.
But once again, you lived up to your name, Dreamcatcher, because she did this look. But she was funny in the car.
Yeah, Jinx was funny in the car, but
But I put you as my worst too, just because I hated your costume on the runway. It's the finale. No matter what, you should have one dress that you have saved for the finale.
Yeah.
And if you make it that far, you wear it. If you don't,
if that was your one dress
you take
that
it
you
home
saved,
and you return it to the person you bought. That dress that you got at Ross, also known as cross-dress class, that you thought you were like, this is my best purple gown, and I'm gonna put on this headpiece to go with it, with a necklace under it, so all you see is these black stones.
She looks like Boo Boo the Fool, because, girl, that was the ugliest color of purple I've ever seen in my life. That blonde hair was hideous, and it was probably a hardline wig, which is why you put on that nasty-ass seashell on your fucking head. It was I was just so upset. And then I am so tired of the sob story. Oh, I had a bad childhood. That's why I started drag. Like, girl, everyone went through trials and tribulations in their life. Who cares? What are you doing now? What are you doing to make your future better? Like, girl, I do not have time for every episode for you to cry about how your mother was an alcoholic. Like, bitch, who cares? I don't care. I don't care. So what? So what? We all have problems with our family and our parents. I do. Like, she does. Water herself the duck's back. Yes, girl.
Just keep saying
I will,
Maddox is talking.
I will drown that duck. Okay, how about that? Because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the sob stories. I'm tired of you not looking nice. And then Michelle Visage is like, oh, if Carol Burnett was on the red carpet and she's funny and she looked a mess, would we say anything? Yes. It doesn't matter. If Ellen DeGeneres is funny, if she walked down the street and she looked a fucking mess, guess what someone would say? Ellen, you look a fucking mess. I don't care how funny you are, because drag is about the look. It's not all about the look, but when you first walk into a club, a bar, or something,
people judge
guess
you
what?
by your
They
look.
judging you by your look. They're not going, oh, but she's funny. They're going, that bitch look a fucking total mess. She is a booger.com. For me, I'm thinking drag superstar is something that I can, like, want to be, maybe. Like Raja. She's fierce fashion queen. There's been some looks where I'm like, yes, I need to mop that. I've never seen you and go, ooh, I'm going to mop that look that Jinx just did. No, bitch. Ain't a day in my life. Sorry. I know this is the second week in a row that I went off on Jinx, but girl.
So basically her name is Roxy Andrews.
And I think that's why I'm not that hard on Roxy, because even though she's being rude and cunty and bitchy and not playing the game how it should be played, a lot of what she's saying is true, so.
Who is your favorite costume?
My favorite costume of the week was Roxy Andrews. This is the thinnest she's ever looked. I don't know what kind of magical corset she had under that motherfucking dress, but she looked so thin. That print was everything. That dress was everything. Her boobs is pushed up for the sky. I wish she didn't repeat the wig, but she tried to style it differently, yada, yada, yada. Her face is always beat, but I thought she was my favorite on the runway. Alaska was a very close second. They were the only two that came to show up for the top three because Jinx looked a fucking mess.
Well, it was really close for me between Roxy and Alaska because Alaska looked pretty.
Yeah, she did.
Like with big, messy hair, but it was controlled messy. She knew where the pieces were.
Yeah.
And it looked good. The contacts were great. I liked that she didn't have eyebrows, and it was just, you looked very pretty. And she said, my dress is a lace front, which I thought was hysterical.
Yeah.
But I did give it to Roxy because at the end of the day, I've always looked up to Roxy and her looks and the Continental Girls looks and national pageant looks. And that was something that Roxy wore when she won Continental for prelims this year. And then she didn't get there, maybe because she was filming a TV show, who knows. I just thought it was clean. It was, the jewelry matched. It's a beautiful dress. The hair was cute and right. The face was sitting tight.
And she wore a gown that touched the floor. Thank you. Even Alaska's gown touched the floor. She had to hold it up a little bit.
It was nice.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's time for predictions.
Predictions. Okay. For me, I would like Alaska to win.
Me too.
I would really like her to win. Based on this last episode and like what she's been doing like the past couple of episodes, I would like her to win. I thought her speech, Defend Your Life, was the best one. Combined with her look on the runway, combined with her characters in the courtroom, like, she really pulled it together this episode.
And she won last week.
Like, I feel like the last two episodes, she really was like, listen, I've been scooting and booting, jigging and jiving
to get me here.
but now I'm gonna,
two. Which are two of the hardest challenges.
Yeah. So I really like Alaska. I would really like her to win. What I believe is going to happen is that Jinx is going to win. Just because, I don't know why, but I just feel like that's going to happen.
I believe that too, but in a perfect world, Jinx will get sent home first if they do it in a way where they eliminate people. And then it would be Roxy and Alaska would win. Sadly, I think they're going to just pull all three of them up again and announce the winner, and it'll probably be Jinx.
Who do you think Miss Congeniality is gonna be? I said Ivy Winters because
I think it'll be Ivy Winters because Manila Luzon promoted for her. Well, that's it. I've had it officially.
I've had it.
Officially.
Monica Beverly Hills zooing it. So
That's a good place to leave it.
what I want you to do is in the comments write hashtag Team Alaska, hashtag Team Roxy, hashtag Team Jinx for who you want to win. And we'll see, girl, if you're right or not. I'm doing hashtag Team Alaska.
I'm doing hashtag Logan Hardcore for RuPaul's Drag Race Season 6.
Yes.
Hashtag Alaska 5,000. 500?
5,000.
Who cares?
It's Alaska Thunderfuck. They just can't say that on
And they
TV.
can say detox
I
icon.
cunt. Next week is a recap episode. I think
So we won't be
So
here.
we won't be here. I think I'm gonna do like a recap of all the what's the teas and like just put clips.
Our favorite part.
Our favorite parts of what we've done so far.
We'll do a bullying section. Tune in 2 weeks to find out what's the tea.
Tell me what's the tea?
Bam!
One take wonders.
Yes, girl, you ain't never seen a recap. Hashtag finally Coco's gone.